Thanks for joining us on Key Factors, presented by the raceguide.com.au. It's Stu, Rich and Mike Wood here to take you through another big quaddie weekend at Royal Randwick. And look, it's still very icy outside there, Mike. I mean, we were banking on it to dry out a little bit last week. That didn't happen. It's going to be wet underneath again, no matter what.
Yeah, sorry to all the followers for last week. We bank all hours of analysis on getting the conditions right. We thought it was going to be a soft track. It just didn't dry out, did it? And all in the reflexes, she peaked in the heavier special on the day. So sorry about that.
She peaked, and so did those Blues last night. I knew you'd be grinning ear to ear once you got in here. Well done.
Yeah, Maroons too good last night. Talk about hitting the line. They were so strong, Stu. It was a 50-50 game, though. You went out there last night. It must have been a long blue train ride home, Stu. That must have been terrible.
Always is a long train ride home. But look, I mean, a little bit of Ascot was on the telly. That cheered me up a little bit. But look, we've got to get the day going. It's the Randwick. It's back at Randwick, as I said, this weekend. It's the quaddie's what we're looking at. No Group 1s on this card, but I mean, it's a day that's going to be sponsored again. Canis Sister getting involved. Love their support in the regional areas. But look, let's get stuck into it. It's a quaddie this weekend. The Racing to Win handicap to kick us off over the mile. I mean, Racing to Win, how good was this horse? John O'Shea, one of his best in training, I think, before he went to Godolphin, and he'd love to get another one of these back in his stables, wouldn't he? I mean, Glenn Boss, I remember him riding so high in the irons back in 2006 in that George Main. What a horse.
Yeah, he loved the mile. It's our job to find a horse that loves the mile, maybe half as much as him to kick off the quaddie. One of the high rating races on the day to kick us off a handicap over 1,600 metres, like we said. Looking at the conditions in this race, fair to steady tempo only, not too many going forward. We think it's going to be a heavy 8 on Saturday. We're not going to make the same mistake we did last week. It's not going to dry out. It's going to stay around the heavy 8 range and bias. That's the one that's up in the air. The rail's out 7 metres. It can be fair to off rails, but watch out for near pace as well. When it's a heavy track at Randwick, lately, near pace, not swoopers, surprisingly, has been better. So across the 3 key factors to kick us off, heavy track all afternoon. Because of the steady tempo, position and run has to be a key factor. And there's lots of horses that are up and down in this race, so we're going to play reliability too.
All right, well, let's see which of these horses come out as a risky proposition. We're going to have a look at the market here to kick things off this weekend, and I don't think it's Leopari off that big win last week. He's on top at $4.20. Sound proposition, the ex-Kiwi at $5 there. Sultan of Swing, another ex-Kiwi. Could it be his turn this weekend? Marin Ostro, bit of money there. We know that horse loves the wet. Berry Delicious, another one that just goes well in the mud. And Old North, I mean, was that a little bit of, return to form there? But look, it's Kiwis here, Mike. We know they love the wet. Is that the right form lines?
Yeah, the Kiwis are big competitors in this race, and we'll look at one of them in the second replay. But let's start with a pretty obvious replay to look at, with 2 of the really key players on Saturday racing the same race 2 starts ago, over 1,500 metres at Rosehill Gardens. Berry Delicious here midfield in the red, coming to the outside, getting a bit more luck than Leopari, who just gets held up slightly, winds up, comes wider, and he hits the line too.
Yeah, hits the line. No, we're really confident on Berry Delicious this way. Just have a look at her out in the red, just really storming home. Leopari just tracking up in behind.
Yeah, both big runs. The form references are good. Berry Delicious unlucky next start in Brisbane. Leopari, you said it already, Stu, he won next start, beating a really good horse last week, so both good runs there.
All right, we've mentioned these Kiwis. One of those is Sound Proposition, and I can see some group form all over the form there in New Zealand, so let's have a look at this horse over in Kiwi land.
Yeah, not many people are going to know about this Kiwi horse, which is now a local horse trained by Chris Lees. He's on the inside here in a group race, a handicap. He was up in the weights this day. He was big odds, but he ran really well, held up slightly late, and look, a really good run, Stu.
Yeah, really good run. Love a horse that just sticks on like this and gets a little bit blocked right about here, but finishes really close, and you've got to like that.
Yeah, group level form, and you've got to love what the owners have done here. They lost to Chris Lees on their only Australian run first up in Brisbane, so they thought, why not switch trainers to Chris Lees? Smart move.
All right, we'll see if it's smart. Chris Lees, we know he can train. Let's have a look at these key factors, and you've got to take us through the gold here, Mike.
Yeah, lots of gold to look at, starting with a heavy track, and Leopari we know loves the mud. Marin Ostro, an absolute mudlark. Berry Delicious and Destiny's Kiss, they love the mud as well. Across to position and run, Sultan of Swing gets the box seat, but he's a bit of a risk on a wet track. Marin Ostro gets on pace as well, but he's not as reliable as others. Leopari and Berry Delicious reliable. Lots of others up and down, and really unreliable types, including Old North.
Okay, so reliability. It looks as though there's only 2 that we can really trust there. Well, let's have a look at these overall ratings to see where they all stack up. And, well, there's those 2 reliable gallopers, right? Both on 11 for Leopari and Berry Delicious. And then the Kiwis in behind, but must be a little bit of form there, because the factors didn't give much for Sound Proposition. So that's the format it in, getting him up to 3rd position.
Yeah, that group form rating kicks him up to 3rd, even though no gold bars, Stu, like you said. And look, we've got 2 clear top raters. One of them's the favourite. It's going to get back in the field, Leopari. One of them's going to be midfield. She can quicken when she needs to on a heavy track. And she's such a good each-way bet in a race full of unreliable types. Such a good each-way odds. So we'll go with Berry Delicious. The money's already come early. We think it'll keep coming. Barrier 1, the inside, quickening through to win. Berry Delicious for us.
All right, the reliable type in the mud. Berry Delicious to kick things off this weekend at Randwick. Let's have a look at the next leg of the quaddie. It's the Can Assist Winter Dash over the sprint distance at 1,200 metres. And Kadira, I mean, how well has this horse come back? Just been, chasing home the Monster here last day, running away from a few of these. And then the favourite, Tessera, half the age at 3 years old. And he's one of those ones that, that Eagle Farm form line just got to start to put a bit of a pen through that.
Big, fat, red pen through Tessera's last run. We talked about this before, haven't we? So many horses come from Eagle Farm and win next start after coming last. He could do it. Handicap 1,200 metres. Fair steady tempo again. Only a couple going forward. Tessera should get the lead ins and out, maybe on his outside. Heavy 8 conditions. The bias slightly up in the air, so keep a really close eye on that on Saturday. Watch the website too. Across the 3 key factors, heavy track we talked about. Position and run. Those on paces will be favoured with a potential steady tempo and stage of preparation. Some fresh horses and some horses very deep into their prep.
All right, well, let's have a look at the market here for the second leg of the quaddie to see where all the money's gone. And, well, it's not the old boys they've come for. They've come for the 3-year-old Tessera and they've jumped out to back it. I think as much as $7.50 went up, taking the older horses, banged into $3.60. So Bacchus there, we know he's solid, getting closer to another win. There's Kadiro, what a win that last start was, and Ins and Out does battle again. And Chase the Horizon, who's going to be chasing from the back, but look, a really good go here for Tessera. That's just big money.
Yeah, the wrong price went up from the big green monster, the tab early, and they've taken advantage, haven't they? Let's have a look at him in the second replay, but let's have a look at similar conditions at Randwick, wet track, last up for a few of these horses that come into this race on Saturday. Look, a couple of these horses doing what they typically do. This is 1,100 metres, a strong tempo. God bless the monster who kicked away to win by a huge margin, and we loved him that day. Look, they're doing what they do here. Ins and Out, a horse with plenty of power and a good turn of foot, quickens into the race and looms. You know he's going to peak, and you know Kadiro, Stu, you know what he does, don't you?
Yeah, well, that's Kadiro coming home on the yellow there on the outside, really hits the line well and starts to get away from Ins and Out there at the end.
Just such a genuine horse like the Kadiro. The way he hits the line the last 100 metres, a credit to the trainer.
All right, well, we've mentioned Tessera. The money's come. Let's take you back to, one of the reasons why I think this is a group race and we're going back to some Queensland form.
Yeah, looking for horses coming back from the Queensland Carnival. Obviously, it's going to be great form to reference. And here he is in the Godolphin Blue getting no luck at all. Still held up. I think it's about the 200 metres he finally gets out. And he does plenty, doesn't he, Stu?
Yeah, this might be one of the reasons the punters have come. Just gets out here and really savages the line. Big finish.
Yeah, should have won pretty much. Great win. That was second up. He does like it second up.
All right. Well, look, any love here for the money horse Tessera in the overall key factors?
Well, we just talked about stage of prep, didn't we? And that's the thing that we're concerned about with Tessera. Despite the fact you can forgive him for Eagle Farm third up, we've never seen him perform third and fourth up before previously in his career. Otherwise, he's so well suited and so easy to like, which is why the money's come. Heavy track in the lead, the perfect position and run, lots of ticks for him. Looking down the page, so Bacchus and Chase the Horizon, good horses in form, but they will get back off a steadier tempo. Really hard to knock Kadiro and really hard to knock Ins and Out as well. He's been on strong tempos the last 2 starts. He can really show his turn of foot on Saturday.
All right, so Ins and Out gets the 2-goal buzz there. Oh, geez, I know he hit the line there, but just hard to just like that horse that doesn't always hit the line. But look, let's have a look at the overall ratings here. And well, Inzi, the boys, they like him again. 11.5 Tessera right there, and then there's Kadiro, the horse that went straight past Ins and Out, just in behind. So Ins and Out on top, but it looks as though we've got three strong chances here.
Yeah, 3 strong chances, and you look at Ins and Out, and you kind of go, the last thing we're going to do is pretend he's an absolute moral. A horse like him who tends to sprint and peak and doesn't win that often, but he's really going to be right in the finish, we think, on Saturday. So well suited, just outside the leader. If it's any near pace bias at all, he's going to be right in the finish. Yep. But just back him a place. He's much better odds of place for a horse with his profile, and I think he's $3 or something like that, maybe even more. So great odds for him, Inzi. He loves a place, and stand him out in a Quinella from a few others, even Mount Nebo, who's so well suited on Saturday. Okay, so you've got to play to the horse's strengths here. Ins and Out on top. We're going to play that Quinella as well. Well, look, there's a look at the first 2 legs of the quaddie this weekend from Randwick. Stick around and we'll wrap it all up after the break.
Welcome back to Key Factors, presented by the raceguide.com.au. We're up to leg 3 of the quaddie for the big meeting at Randwick this week, and it's the Professionals Tamworth Handicap. And look, so this time of year, you get a few of these Melbourne horses coming up the highway. We've got Staviva and Recalculate chasing a bit of the rain. And then there's Pelothronius, tough one to pronounce, but look, David Pfeiffer, he's given a bit of an indication this horse is just an absolute wet track specialist. And this word in Greek, well, it means the inventor of the bridle and the saddle for all you guys out there.
Yeah, good Googling, Stu. That's a good one. Yeah, well done. I mean, I might have to call him bridle and saddle as well because I can't pronounce that name at all. Let's get stuck into the race conditions and see what's going on here. Benchmark 78, 1400 metres, a fair tempo. I think there's 3 on paces we've got here going forward, setting up a fair speed. Heavy 8 we can zoom in on Saturday, but we're not sure about the bias, so we can't zoom in there. Keep a close eye. It might be near pace, especially later in the day. Across the 3 key factors here, heavy track all afternoon, distance, the 1400 metres is quite unique, and scope. A few of these horses are on the way up and are only lightly raced. All
right, well, let's have a look at the market here. A big full field, so I'm expecting a few pretty good goes here for a couple of these runners. But look, Imperator Augustus is the one on top, and that's actually one of the ones they've already come for. We know loves the wet of Randwick of late. We've got Wild and Famous, who's found one better his last 2. Scratch from Brisbane, so definitely running here. Clear the Beach, another one loving the mud. There's Pelothronius, backed in from as much as $9, so good money there for Pfeiffer's horse. Wang Wah, one of the emergencies, $8. And then there's Level 8 that chased home Pelothronius. But look, a few really good goes here in this race early.
Yeah, so many horses to look at given there's so many goes and such an even market, isn't there? We're going to start with one of the lightly raced types of horses on the way up and could be a real winner, unlike another horse back in the field, Gold Ambition, who's not a winner. This is Clear the Beach on pace in the yellow. Strong tempo, bit of near pace bias this day, a couple of weeks ago as well, so he was slightly favoured by that. But look, he's a lightly raced horse. He's out exposed here in the lead, and he does pretty well, doesn't he, Stu?
Yeah, I mean, these two, they turned in front, and he just sticks on. Gotta love the fight this horse showed.
Yeah, for a lightly raced horse, so important to see such a genuine finish. He's under pressure, they're all slowing down. He keeps lifting, which gives you confidence for the 1400 metres on Saturday, doesn't it?
It sure does, looking at that. And definitely always loving a horse that sticks on at Randwick. Let's have a look at another one here. The money's come for Imperator Augustus. Let's have a look at one of the reasons why, and a few of the form actually ties in here.
Yeah, there's some similar form lines in this race, starting with these 2 who obviously have similar form ratings because you can see they finish alongside each other. Look, a strong tempo this day as well, and the jockey had no other plan apart from going up the inside. He had to hit the lead early, and he slid through and got a few lengths there. Level 8 fighting on pretty well out wide, Stu.
Yeah, Level 8 in the yellow coming home. But yeah, that looked like a little cutaway rail. It just shot up the inside. But yeah, look, bit of form to come out of this race and got to follow it.
Yeah, Level 8 came out and ran well next start to another one of the favourites as well, didn't he? And yeah, the form all ties in.
All right, well, it's gold bar time. Take us through these key factors, Mike. Where's the gold?
Well, it's a tough race, and I'm not sure if this helps the punters at all, Stu. There's one big negative for us. Wild and Famous, the second favourite. He tends to peak on his run slightly over 1200 metres. He's only ever been in a really tough 1400 metre race once before, and he did peak. So no pluses for him, but lots of other pluses in the other horses. Imperator Augustus loves the wet. Pelothronius, did I say that right? He does as well, and he's got the scope on the way up as well as Clear the Beach. They're the 2 horses on the rise, but so hard to knock horses like Wang Wah, who'll be flying home if she gets through the heavy track. And Level 8, so consistent too.
All right, so a couple of knocks there for Snowden's Wild and Famous. We know he scratched him from Brisbane team. The analyst team here saying that could be a bad move. Let's have a look at the overall ratings. And wow, well, there was lots of gold before, and there's a reason why. This field's pretty stacked, and that's about, half a length between 5 of those runners. So we've got a job cut out here.
Yeah, similar form lines. Well, similar form lines between 3 of them, Pelothronius, Imperator Augustus and Level 8, so we couldn't split them. And Clear the Beach, Wang Wah, how can you knock these 2 horses which are going so well? So as we do when it's stacked, you go for value. And we're going to have to go for Level 8, I think. I think he's the best bet in this race. He's going to posse up outside the lead. If there's any near pace bias, he's going to be in a perfect spot, just like ins and out. And he's so consistent. Each way markets are perfect for him. And for the value bet, you've got to go wide in this race. Let's go for the first 4 and box all those top raters in. Maybe leave the Melbourne horse out. It's a bit risky. And put in Fig Tree. He's 50 to 1, I think.
All right, got to love a 50 to 1 in terms of a value bet.
Not a bad horse, yeah.
We'll see if it's in the quaddie a little bit later on. Let's wrap it up with the last leg of the quaddie, and it's the Jackson Pastoral Company Gyra handicap. And look, I reckon the first look at this was the quaddie killer for me. I think we've got a full field here of 14, a lot of apprentices riding. Not an easy way to finish the day. But since we were doing this show, Mike, I mean, so many of these in the last race, you get to know them. Isa Rich is one of those. I know he just blew out our quaddie. I think it was last December at about 41 bucks. I went through his stats. The last win before that was also in the last leg of the quaddie. So it's funny what these horses can do given the programming, and some of them just end up in the last.
I didn't spot that horse, and now I'm worried, Stu. He's got us twice before ISO Rich, and he can bob up at odds, that horse. You got me worried. Now let's have a look at the way the race sets up. The quaddie killer to finish us off. Benchmark 78, or hopefully not finish us off. 1,000 metres, strong tempo, heavy 8. The bias up in the air, so keep a close eye on that. It could be really near pace by this stage of the day. If it is on the day, watch out for leaders by race 9. Looking across the 3 key factors, heavy track again. And basically what we're looking for is a horse that loves Royal Randwick and the distance. We pulled out one of these stats last week, didn't we? Not many horses winning at the track.
We did.
The same happening here. 3 wins from 52 starts for these horses at Royal Randwick. That's shocking.
That's a lot of non-winners at Randwick.
It's a lot.
All right, well, let's hope everyone's alive in the last leg of the quaddie. We've got to find those mutters. Let's have a look at the market here for that last leg at Randwick. And Sangiovese, well, there's a horse that's back in the winner's stall. $5 the field, thank you. Star-Crossed, one of the emergencies, will need a few scratchings to get a run here. Wide Acclaim, well, he resumed with a big win. King Darcy's there at $7. Lion Cashant, another one that's going to go forward. Rose of Man, there's one that doesn't have a lot of pace. She's pretty hard to follow. But look, plenty of fresh form to watch out for here, and the yard's going to be very key for the punters.
Yeah, so important for these fresh horses, and so important to find a fit horse that's loving the wet tracks, that's in form and winning. So we'll start with one of those Wide Acclaim. He's second up on Saturday, and he was first up at Warwick Farm over 1,100 metres when Deanne Pagnet let him off the leash about 700 metres out. Went 3 lengths to the lead. You were sure he was going to knock up, but he didn't.
No, she just said go, and away he went. And you say he's thought about here, maybe start coming back to the field, but no, just kept going. Loved it.
Yeah, his stats over sort of 1,000 metres, maybe Randwick, potentially aren't quite as good, but he's come back so well, and he showed a good turn of foot on a heavy track, which is so hard to do first up. Yeah, you've got to like that win.
All right, I think you said before there were 3 winners out of this field from 52 starts. Let's have a look at least one of these that can handle Randwick.
Yeah, you've got to have a look at Ice Bucket, who's got 2 out of those wins. He's 2 from 3 at Randwick. And Ice Bucket here in the green colours coming out wide. Look, he absolutely looks like he's going nowhere this day, and I'm going to have to draw a comparison. I apologise for this, Stu. Randwick mudlarks are like Queensland State of Origin players. Just when you think they're down and out, they lift. And just like Jonathan Thurston Ice Bucket, storms home late and wins. What a great win. And look, you got a big credit to Minnesota as well. She's such a genuine mare. She fights on 2, and she gets a weight turnaround too on Saturday.
All right, I've got to give it to you. That horse did lift, like the Queenslanders did last night.
Yep.
But look, we're not here about rugby league. Let's take us through the key factors. Gold ratings, please, to wrap it up.
It's almost the key factors against each other in this race, isn't it? You've got a heavy track horse, Wide Acclaim, who was so good first up. Sangiovese, a bit of a risk on a heavy track. Across to a Randwick horse, Ice Bucket, who's so strong at Randwick compared to the rest. And Minnesota, like we said before, she's quite good at Randwick. She's off the page. She's got 4 placings from 6 at the track. And across the distance, really power horses like Sangiovese, Star-Cross and Lion Cashant. They've got plenty of power, but can they sustain that power on a heavy track? That's the question for them.
Okay, well, we said this was going to be the quaddie killer, and those key factors, they pretty much confirm that. Let's have a look at the overall ratings here to see what we're going to get. And, yep, that is one stacked field here. Wide Acclaim on top. But, yeah, there you go. Minnesota shot right up the ratings, up to 10, I think, around about that $17 mark.
Yeah, you'd be surprised if it wasn't a close finish, wouldn't you? 1,000 metres to win the day, open race. So you kind of expect a stacked field to finish us off. So when we're looking through the ratings to find our best bet, we'll go for the top rater as the best bet, and we'll pull out some value for the value bet you just mentioned.
We love that.
I think you found the mare there, Stu, didn't you? So Wide Acclaim for us. He's a winner. He loves a heavy track. He can quicken through the heavy. So hard to beat. Ice Bucket we quite liked as well, obviously with 2 wins. But we'll go with Minnesota with the apprentice on board. She's so genuine. She won't be far away.
All right, so Wide Acclaim to wrap things up there for the key factors. So this quaddie, Mike, I mean, we've got place bets, we've had some Quinellas, a lot of each way. It just might be that day to play really smart at Randwick. But look, how are we going to get them home in the quaddie this weekend? We're due.
Yeah, we are due. We had 3 from 4 last week, and Bjorn Baker's big plunge on Sir Plush sunk us, and hopefully there's no plunges on Saturday. Race 6, we've got three top raters there, Sound Proposition, Berry Delicious and Leopari. If you want to be brave, you can maybe leave Leopari out, a super coming from the back off a steady tempo. Across to race 7, the 3 top raters again, plus Old Mount Nebo, barrier 1 heavy track, you can't leave him out. Race 8, there's the wide one, similar form lines, Wangwa and even Fig Tree at Fiddies, you can't leave him out either. And race 9, another stacked field. But we like those few horses, a couple that really like Randwick, like we talked about.
All right, and I reckon this is going to pay too. So we've got $100 there for roughly 28% of the quaddy. That seems good.
I think that's about the ratio you want to get on Saturday. And don't forget to play those place bets and place all ups. It's a good day for that. Really reliable types could pay off.
All right, well, it is Randwick. It's going to be wet. It's going to be all important to back those horses that you know are going to be able to skip through that mud and get up that Randwick rise. You can find out all that on the raceguide.com.au. Everything will be updated on Friday. And look, it's going to be a good day out there on Saturday, and we hope you jag a big piece of that quaddy this weekend at Royal Randwick. But that's all from us tonight.
Cheers, good punting.